Engineering Qualification Validation, and this is session number 109 that I hold every week here in my social media. So it means that every week for 109 weeks I am here talking about a subject related to the engineering qualification validation in Australia, and also about how to get a job in Australia as well, and other subjects related to engineering. And tonight I'm going to talk about plagiarism, and I'm going to give you guys 7 examples of what can be potentially the cause of plagiarism, so you can avoid. And also I'm going to share quickly with you what you can do if you ended up getting caught by plagiarism. But first, for those that don't know me, my name is Gerson Ida, and I'm the founder of the website www.engineersinaustralia.com, a website to share content of value and useful information to help you in your journey to validate your engineering qualification in Australia. And I also share information about workplace health and safety, environmental management, day-to-day of engineering in Australia, and also about professional engineering recruitment. And if you haven't joined my Telegram group yet, I will copy and paste the link for you to join. I've got a group in Telegram. What is Telegram? Telegram, it's a messaging app. It's like a WhatsApp, but in my view, it's more professional. It delivers more messages. The messages that I put in there, it delivers to pretty much everybody. So I've got a group there, Engineering Qualification Validation Group. It's free. Currently, I've got more than 820 members in the group. And the PDF that I'm going to generate tonight, I'm going to post in my Telegram group. Obviously, there are some conditions that you will see. I'm just pasting now the link to my Telegram group in the comments in both YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So if you're interested, you're more than welcome to be part of my group, and there you can ask questions. I share posts, audios, videos, and some job opportunities as well. And also, if you are interested in my free online workshop, the name of this workshop in September is going to be I Want to Become an Engineer in Australia. So you can register to the next event. You just need to go to my website and just register for free as well. So I will paste the link in there as well, so you can if you're interested, you can register to the free workshop. It's starting on the 5th of September, and it's going to run pretty much for the whole week. So let's get down to the business now, and I'm here to talk again about the risks of plagiarism. For those that don't know, plagiarism is when you ended up copying somebody else's work, and Engineers Australia has very strict rules about plagiarism. And as I said before, I'm following some posts in Facebook of some people asking many things, but the things that got really me concerned was about posts asking about companies or somebody that provides services to write their career episodes, or more recently, posts asking if somebody knows a translator that has already translated career episodes from, let's say, Portuguese to English or Spanish to English. So, and this is very, very concerning, because this certainly is plagiarism, and you can get caught. So I thought, well, I'm going to cover this in my next live session. I'm going to give not just these examples, but other few examples. So 7 examples in total tonight. So if you are not aware, then you will become aware of the risk. If you want to take the risk, that's your problem. I'm not here to tell you what to do or what not to do. You're all adults. You do whatever you want as long as you know what are going to be the consequences of that. So I want first to warn you that Engineers Australia, they use a very advanced plagiarism detection software. So I remember that when I was at uni back in 1989, 1990s, in the 90s, my university back in Brazil, I'm Brazilian engineer. My university back in Brazil had already a plagiarism detection software. So all the works that we used to do at that time, even though maybe the computers were very old, but they still be able to detect plagiarism. So if they, at that time, they were able to detect plagiarism, imagine today with the advancement of technology and everything that's in the internet is pretty much public domain. You know, those softwares, they detect really small traces of plagiarism. And if you have any questions about plagiarism, or if you have any other question about the validation process, you can start putting the comments, and in the middle of the live session tonight, we'll be looking at the questions and I'll be answering those. And you got to pay attention that in the Engineers Australia booklet, yeah, there's the booklet here. If you haven't downloaded the booklet, I encourage you to download straight away and have a good read on the booklet. So in page 18, item 2.5.3, it talks about plagiarism and discusses plagiarism and each career episode. It says that each career episode should be written in its entirety in your own words. If you present a work conducted by others as your own and using templates or other career episodes, online sources, is considered plagiarism, and it's a breach of Engineers Australia Code of Ethics. It is considered to be unethical behavior. So this act, according to the booklet, carries severe penalties, including rejection of the application, imposing a ban up to 3 years. And Engineers Australia will also report your details to the Department of Home Affairs, the Immigration Department. So the Department of Home Affairs, they can then do some further action and investigation. And remember that when you apply for a visa, a lot of visas, or majority of visas, they have one assessment, which is called a character assessment. And if you are, let's say, deemed to be a bad character because you did some unethical behavior, for example, this one reported by Engineers Australia, for example, you may even run the risk of having your visa application, even if it is for a student visa or whatever, being rejected by the Department of Home Affairs because you failed in your character assessment. So it's very serious, the issue of plagiarism. It doesn't just impact your Engineers Australia application, but also can impact your student visa application, for example. Obviously, if you are caught by plagiarism, there's an opportunity for informal and formal review. But obviously, this will involve more time, more money, and obviously more stress. And I'll cover in more details a little bit below. So example number one. Example number one could be pictures from the internet. And it is timely to remind about a message that I received from one of our colleague engineer, where Engineers Australia rejected the application of this person, as Engineers Australia found pictures that have been copied from the internet. And this person was banned for 12 months until this person could make or can make a new application. This person sent me a message in WhatsApp saying that he was caught by plagiarism. He was asking me what he could do, and he was saying, this person was saying that was just some pictures that he copied from the internet, but we'll see that this is really, really serious. If you're copying pictures from the internet, it's not really advisable to use pictures from the internet. But if it is absolutely necessary, you must you must give credit to whoever was the author of the picture and explain why you are using somebody else's picture. So just remember, it's better not to use it, but if you have to, just please put the name of the author and why you're using that picture there. The other example is example number 2 is when you have your report content, and the report can be either your CPD or career episode or your summary statement. So one of the report contents from the internet. So this is another common cause of plagiarism, when the report content is copied and pasted from the internet, either partially or in its entirety. So even if you change some words or use some synonyms, the plagiarism detection software from Engineers Australia will detect it as a copy and you will be caught. So as I said before, Engineers Australia takes very seriously the issue of plagiarism, and the software is really, really well advanced. So you may find somebody else's report on the internet. You could be tempted to copy and paste and change few things. Please consider the risks, because you're taking a huge risk to be caught by plagiarism. Example number 3, existing career episodes. This is another very common cause of plagiarism. When especially in those Facebook groups, I know that a lot of people, they trying to help. In those groups, people say, some engineers, they put a post in those groups asking, does somebody have an example of a career episode that I could use just to have a look? And then some engineers, they say, yes, I'm going to send you in the private message, or they put in the files in the group, and they're saying, please, take care of the plagiarism, etc., etc. But if you really care about your friend, if you really care about your fellow engineer, you're not going to do that. You need to say that the report is not very complex to write. Obviously, it's not easy because it requires a lot of work, but it can be done without you kind of having a copy. The booklet is very clear. It gives you the structure and the format of each career episode. You just need to read a little bit more, obviously dedicate some time and put some effort to write your own career episode. But if you ended up getting somebody else's career episode, a friend's career episode, and then you will use as a base, as much as you try to write differently, you will end up reproducing some of your friend's content. And Engineers Australia plagiarism detection software will pick it up, and it will detect as a copy, and you will be caught. Especially if your friends, obviously your friend's career episode was already assessed by Engineers Australia, so Engineers Australia will have their career episode in their database. And once the software kind of matches the content, they'll even say that they have the source of that career episode. All right, before example number 4, I'm going to tell you how, before telling you, I'm going to show you how the PDF is taking place. Where is that? Where is my, that's here. So that is how the PDF is taking place. So plagiarism, do you want to know plagiarism examples and how to avoid being banned by Engineers Australia? So actually I'm going to take a picture of this, and then I'm going to do a post in my Instagram. And then with that post, I will ask you guys to like and put some comments of if you want to know some plagiarism examples and how to avoid being banned by Engineers Australia. And if I have some likes and comments in this post, I will then make this document as a PDF, and I'm going to post in my Telegram group. So actually, I'm going to put a question here. Could you please name one example of plagiarism? Simple question, simple answer. And if you put in the comments one example of plagiarism, yeah, the picture got a little bit because of the monitor. Yeah, but that's in my last picture. So if you can put, if you like the picture and put a comment in there, I will then get this Word document as a PDF, and I'm going to post in my Telegram. It will be protected by a password, so stay with me, and I will release the password during the live session. Okay, so I'll go back to my notes there. So example number 4. We talk about in example number 3 an existing career episode. Example number 4 will be an existing summary statement. You also may be tempted to use your friend's summary statement. As a summary statement is another report that you need to write, and it is a little bit more difficult because you need to write a summary in the middle column explaining why you believe you are competent in that particular competency, and also you've got to number all the paragraphs. So you can ask a friend to have a look at their summary statement, and then it is obviously less frequent, but some applicant, sometimes you are a bit desperate. So in an act of desperation, you ended up copying and pasting and don't realize that sometimes even the paragraph numbering is not really the right one. They do not match. And of course, the plagiarism detection software will detect that it is a copy of your friend's summary statement, and you will be caught. Or even the assessor, obviously, if you ended up copy and pasting without paying too much attention, the content of the middle column is going to be wrong, and the numbering of the paragraphs is not going to be right as well. So the assessor, he or she, will realize that the numbering has nothing to do with your career episode, and it will become very suspicious. And if you're here and if you're not really understanding about what is this career episode, what is this summary statement, what is this middle column, what is this numbering that Gerson is talking about, if you don't know anything about that, maybe it's because you are in the beginning of your process and you don't know much about the validation process. So that's why I invite you to participate in my free workshop next September, starting on the 5th of September. The workshop, I want to become an engineer in Australia. If you want to register yourself, the link is in the comments that I left in YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I'll have a look at, before example number 5, I'll have a look at some of the questions. I've got some questions already coming here. Question in YouTube. And thanks for my YouTube audience. And that's a good reminder. If you're not subscribed to my channel in YouTube, if you could please consider subscribing to my channel. It's not a big channel. I've got, I think, 400 something subscribers. If you like the content, please consider subscribing, because it helps my channel to grow and delivers the content freely to more people that, like you, may need a little bit more information. And how do you find my channel there? If you just type in Gerson Ida in YouTube, you will find my channel there. So I really thank you if you can subscribe. So Amanda, thanks Amanda for your questions. And she's asking, I have a question. If we have some theory that helped us explain the work done, can we mention them if we credit the author, like we do in thesis for master and bachelor? Yeah, that's for sure, Amanda. You can always put some the source of the theory, especially if it is a book or if it is a technical standard, if it is a specification. You always put the bibliography there as well. And the other question she's saying is, another question is, do you think the career episode needs to be 100% based on the practical part, or is it good to include some theoretical part as well? Yeah, this question can be a couple of interpretations. I'm not quite sure what you mean about the practical part and theoretical part. Practical part, I'm taking that it is based on work experience, and theoretical part is based on some academic experience. I'd say that both practical and theoretical are good. If you actually did the work and you can describe the whole process, especially design, design work is very, very important. It's good. Some theoretical, let's say that you've just done the design, but you haven't built or haven't manufactured that design. It's also okay. Engineering work is also just design. You just need to. It's not necessary that you have built or have constructed or manufactured that design. If you just describe in the theoretical work in terms of the design process, it is okay as well. So what sort of engineer are you, Amanda? Are you a civil engineer? Are you a mechanical? And that would be good if I know from you guys as well, those ones that are watching there. What sort of engineer are you? Are you mechanical? Are you civil, environmental, chemical, production, industrial? We'll be interested. I'll be interested to know. And also, where are you from? Are you from Brazil? Are you from Colombia? Are you from India? Are you from Pakistan? Are you from Egypt? Are you from Venezuela, Argentina? Because it's interesting to know where my content is reaching. Because I started my live sessions in the beginning 2 years ago was just in Portuguese. My audience was pretty much Brazilians. But nowadays, I believe that my audience is very diverse. And I have many people from many different countries as well. And that's why I'm doing the live sessions in English. Because a lot of people, they are not Brazilians, and obviously it's going to be rude from myself addressing in Portuguese if people in the audience, they are not Brazilians. All right, example number 5. So keep sending me the questions there in the comments. We'll go back to the questions very, very soon. So I'm just going to go back to my notes. Example number 5, not citing references. If you receive a feedback for this reason, what feedback? When you apply for your CDR, your competency demonstration report, you will send and submit your application to Engineers Australia. An assessor will be appointed to look at your case, and then after some time the assessor will give you a feedback or the outcome. The outcome is especially if it is positive, you've been approved. There's no feedback, is the outcome straight away saying that congratulations, you've been approved, etc., etc. Or the assessor can give you a feedback saying that it's missing something, or you need to rewrite your career episode, or you need to explain why you've been caught by plagiarism. So sometimes this feedback can come saying that you've been caught by plagiarism, and then they'll say why, either a picture or the content, etc., etc. Or sometimes they're saying that you have a table, a diagram, or a figure, and for you to explain where those come from. So if that is the case, you can clarify this situation with the assessor. Let's say that to explain your design, you used a particular technical standard and a diagram, this diagram from a technical standard, and then you included a screenshot of that diagram in your career episode, but you forgot to name the source and put the legend of that figure. So you can clarify to the assessor saying that you took that diagram that you used as part of your design work, and that came from the technical standard number, whatever, etc., etc. And the author was whoever was the author of the technical standard there. So you can say that, and that you forgot to include the source of that. Usually it works because you genuinely use that diagram as part of your design work, but you just forgot to cite the reference. The other example is example number 6, is the reason why I decided to do this live session tonight, which is using a translator. What, Gerson? Using a translator, would that be plagiarism? Yes, it will be. So many engineers, they struggle with English and end up writing their reports in their mother language, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you feel more comfortable writing in your own language and then translate to English a little bit later on, it is okay, as long as you translate yourself. So be reminded that the booklet says that each career episode should be written in its entirety in your own words. And if you ask someone else, a translator or a friend, whatever, to write your career episode in English, this is a clear example of plagiarism. So, and why is that? Well, you know, when you ask somebody else to translate, the translation can be a little bit different if the translator has translated already many other career episodes. They could be copy and pasting some of the content, so you got to be careful. The only assurance that you have that is not plagiarism, it's when you write the whole career episode by yourself. Then you know that it's not really plagiarism. I've got another question here in Instagram from Ariel. Hi, thanks Ariel for coming back. I can see that you're a very regular attendee of my live session. Thank you very much for your participation. And the question is, hi Gerson, would defect elimination investigation be an acceptable career episode? That's a good question, Ariel, and from Philippines. Depends what's going to be the content of this defect elimination investigation. If you, in this experience, if you can demonstrate all the 16 competencies required by Engineers Australia, and if this experience matches the definition of your occupation that you're going to apply for according to ANZ SCO, then it will be. So just looking at that, it's difficult to say. The other question, No, it's not question. It's Amanda in YouTube saying that she's an industrial engineer, but worked with planning and cost control in construction sites. She's Brazilian and she's written in English. So when to help me to read, yeah, thank you, Amanda. And obviously she's a Brazilian. Are you in Brazil? You still in Brazil, or are you in Australia? Okay. All right. So yeah, example number six was about using a translator. So be careful. Another potential source of plagiarism when you are translating is about when you use Google Translator to translate your career episodes. You gotta be careful, because every time that you use Google Translator or use especially Google Translator, when you copy and paste the text, it creates like a gray shadow in your Word document. Just notice that. Yeah. Do one experiment. Put a text in, let's say, your mother language, let's say Portuguese, and then translate to English, and then copy and paste that text to a Word document. And you will see that there will be a shadow, like a gray, very light gray shadow in your text. So if you ended up doing this and you gotta send a Word document to Engineers Australia, the assessor will have a look at that and will, oh, that's suspicious, because this gray shadow shouldn't really be here. So be careful with that. And also because Google Translator, as much as the translator is probably okay, but there are some words that they don't translate and it doesn't really make any sense. So just be careful with that. Example number 7 is probably one of the most serious issues there, is engaging a Cdr writer. So when you engage companies to write on your behalf, even though they promise you a plagiarism-free report. What is this plagiarism-free report? They have like a software, and then they write your report, and then they kind of run this report in this software, and then the software provides like a plagiarism-free, saying that the content is free of plagiarism, and they give it to you. But it's pretty much the same as if you, let's say, buy a fake product, and then you know that's fake, and then the seller says it's fake, but I'll give you a certificate of authenticity, so saying that the product is authentic, but you know that's fake, and the seller is selling as fake, but they give you a certificate saying that it's not fake. So what's the value of that plagiarism-free report? Obviously it's rubbish. It doesn't really have any value. So, and certainly a lot of people that they engage those companies, they've been caught by plagiarism. They've been banned for like up to 3 years now. And imagine that if you cannot apply for your validation in the next 3 years, it means that you either will have to keep studying as an international student, because if you are approved as an engineer, you have then other pathways. You can then apply for your permanent visa, you can apply for perhaps a graduate visa, you can apply for a temporary visa, you can be sponsored, etc., etc. So if you are banned for up to 3 years, it means that perhaps you have to go back to your country, because if you apply for a student visa, if you're already for a long time here as a student, the Department of Immigration may not approve your new student visa, and you have to go back to your home country. So, and in the booklet, even Engineers Australia now is acknowledging that they are aware of those Cdr writers organizations, and it's a clear example of plagiarism. All right, I'll just double check questions there. Facebook, no. Yeah, thanks Fabienne, saying very interesting. Didn't know about the translation plagiarism. Thanks Jerson. Yeah, that's certainly true. So don't be tempted. Better to study a little bit of English. And also because you engage a translator, the translator will probably write a very good English in your report. And remember that you will have to provide your English test results to Engineers Australia. And the minimum score is IELTS 6 in every of the 4 bands, or equivalent in TOEFL or PTE. And let's say that you got 6 in every 4 bands, so you got the minimum score to apply. And then your report is a perfect English, with the grammar, with the structure, with everything, punctuation, prepositions, articles, and everything. And you provided an IELTS test with a score of 6. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because if you are providing an IELTS score 6 or equivalent in TOEFL or PTE, and your report is a perfect English, it raises some alarms to the assessor, because the level of English in your report does not really match with the level of your test score. So the assessor will be a little bit suspicious, and it can become a little bit of a problem for you. Okay, there's another question there. It's another question there in Instagram. That's a comment from Lady Sanchez. That's a good point. If the English results don't match the level of English you have in your career episode, it will look suspicious. Yeah, that's for sure. It will. And Ariel has another question there. Another question: what if a career episode involved a team which you were a part of? And what if a team member also used the same episode? Can that be an issue? I don't believe so. Remember that when you are writing your career episode, let's say that you're writing based on a work that you did at or a project that you did at university, and you did with another colleague engineer that happened to also apply for Engineers Australia. So you're using the same project. So when you write your career episode describing that the work was done as a team, you need to make very clear what was your role in that team. What did you do as your part in that team? As long as whatever you did also matches with the definition, the occupation definition according to ANZ SEO, it's okay. As long as you don't claim that the work that your colleague did, you don't claim that as yours, it should be all right. So when you work in a team, you usually split the tasks equal parts. Some parts, obviously, you do. Other parts, the other team member is going to do. So as long as the part that you did is obviously an engineering experience and is complex, and you can demonstrate with evidences, it shouldn't be a problem. As long as you make very clear what you did as your part in that team. So it can be done. All right. Just going to double check there. And again, if you're interested to participate in the free workshop, I want to become an engineer in Australia, you can then register to the next event that starts on the 5th of September, Sunday. And you can click on the link that I put in the description of the... I think I'm going to paste again, so some people arrived a little bit later. So I'm going to put in the description there. Those ones on Instagram, you can also go to my bio, and then there's a link there. Once you click that link, you can then, there will be some buttons. The first button is for you to register to the workshop. And don't forget, I'm going to give you the password for the PDF. Just going to show you how the PDF is taking place. So the PDF is getting like this. So the 7 examples there are there. Okay. And I was almost forgetting, what can you do if you get caught by plagiarism? Let's say that for some whatever reason you receive a feedback that to please explain why this is kind of the same as the other one or whatever. So there are a few things. The first one is you can provide a response to the feedback. Engineers Australia usually will give you 30 days for you to provide a response why that happened, the source of that plagiarism, and then you have the ability to respond back to the feedback. And if after you respond the assessor says that no, it's not good, your application is not approved and you are banned for, like, let's say 3 years, what can you do? You can then apply for informal review. So there is a time and money that you can apply. When you apply for this informal review, usually a panel of reviewers from Engineers Australia will get together and they will assess your application of informal review. It can take a lot of time. It can take, I think, up to around 8 or 9 weeks. And you need to pay, I don't remember how much, but I think it's in the vicinity of $200 or $300. And then that is the informal review. And if the result of this informal review is negative, let's say that they still saying that it's plagiarism, you can then apply for a formal appeal. And this formal appeal then is going to cost you, I think, about between $500 and $600. They will appoint, Engineers Australia will appoint an independent reviewer, and it can take up to, I think, 8 or 9 months, if I'm not wrong, according to Engineers Australia website. And the result of that formal appeal is final. There's no more appeals. Well, I think you can always go to the court, but in terms of the administrative process for revision in Engineers Australia, there's the informal and the formal appeal. All right. Let's see if I didn't forget anything to cover. I don't believe I did. Okay, so if I don't really have any other questions, I'm conscious of time. I hope that these tips and this information have been helpful for you in assisting your journey to validate your engineering qualification here in Australia. And if you have a subject that you would like me to talk about in my live sessions, I am here every Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Brisbane time. Please let me know, put in the comments, send me in the messenger, Facebook messenger, or in the Instagram, a private message there, a direct message. You can send me your suggestion for future videos. So I'll be certainly more than happy to talk about those subjects. And another thing that I was asking these days was about the day. I do this every Sunday, and I do evenings because I work full time during the day, so I can't really do during the day. But I would like to ask you, is Sunday a good day? I got few answers from my, sorry. I got some answers from some people saying that Sunday would be better. Others said that Wednesday was better. Other people said that Saturday would be better. So I would like to know, what day do you think for you is better? And it needs to be at night, usually 7:30 or 8:30 p.m. at night. If it is during the week, obviously it's still gotta be at night. So I thought about Sunday because majority of you guys probably don't work on Sunday evening, and especially if you are here in Australia. But for those ones in Brazil, it's 7:30 a.m. Sunday morning. For those ones in Colombia, I think it's 5:30 a.m. in the morning there. So yeah, just curious, because obviously I want to do this in a day and a time that obviously suits me in my calendar, but also suits majority of people. I can't really do in a time and date that suits everybody, but I would like to do in a time and a date that suit majority of you guys. But for now, I'll keep doing on Sunday, and I will be here next Sunday, 8:30 p.m. on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, talking about another subject about the engineering qualification validation in Australia. Yeah, thank you very much, and I'll see you next week. Thank you, and bye-bye.